Psalms 85:11. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Nawashai Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners. And to the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm coming at you with another lesson in truth from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. And that scripture that I read is basically talking about the relics and the evidences that spring forth out of the earth that prove and disprove lies. What I'm about to show you is technology that where you can take old photos from the from the mid to late 1800s, and you can add color back into them. And when you add color into these things, you'll see that so-called natives were once just as dark and darker than a lot of Negroes, because they're the same people. As a matter of fact, what you're looking at is this is from the African interaction in North America and an area of scholarly neglect. And it talks about how Natives, Americans as mulattoes, well, so when natives were intermingling with the Negroes and vice versa, it created a new race of people. This is literally what they labeled my grandmother was. Even though she was full-blooded, so-called native, she still got, labeled as that. And you can look at it, says a similar matter of existence of a large group right here in the second paragraph of red black people. There's no, the red people are so-called white people. Natives were dark brown. And we're going to show you with these photos that is so. It's these radio photo. And I have to give credit where credit due. These are images from one of the videos and the information that was put out by that brother Cootie Merrill. I don't agree with him wholly in everything that he does, but the brother is pretty good at digging up history. All right. That was a so-called Native American, and he's just as brown as many Negroes you see on the streets today. All right. So let's go through some more of these photos. All right. Yeah. You see the black and white? Brown. Dark brown people. All right. And I'm going to play you a video of a woman who gives some information about this dude looks like KRS-One. All right. So as you can see, these were the same people. All right. And there you go. Media, it lies. Take a good look at that. But the myth of the Bering Strait is a lie. And the truth be said, natives did come from Asia, because guess what? The land of Israel is in Asia. It's Asia Minor. So when they talk about Asiatic people, that part is true. What they don't tell you is that this is what Asiatic people look like right here. All right. They were brown complected people. Some with woolly hair, some with curly hair, some with straight hair. But they were brown complected people. So let's go to this. Let me find. Here we go. Oh, perfect. Perfect. This is what I was looking for. It was right there at the top, called halal. I didn't even realize that. But in the Jewish Encyclopedia, because in the Apocrypha, which I'm going to read, is 2nd Ezra, or the 4th book of Ezra. Let me just read it. Jewish Encyclopedia, Arzareth. All right. The name of the land beyond the great river. The great river was the ocean. All right. Far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel did dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of restoration, according to 2nd Ezra or 4th Ezra 13 and 45. Columbus identified America with this land. C. K. Serling's Christopher Columbus translated by Dr. C. Gross. I have that book behind me. All right, I have that book. And Arzareth has been identified as America by a couple different sources because no one had ever dwelled in America before. All right. I just watched a video last night where a young brother was doing a video where he was incorrect. He was talking about how the natives were always black, and he was showing you images of Hamites that are down in South America, those Olmecs. Those Olmecs were left here by Hamites because you had Hamite servant sailors that worked for King Solomon. And you can read about that in 1 Kings, the 10th chapter. All right. And they would come and take a trip. Matter of fact, let me just get it. Let me just go and get it. Instead of trying to. Let's read it. 10. Give me a second. It might be 2 Kings. Give me a second. Yeah. Oh, that's in Chronicles. Well, it's in Chronicles too. But I'll read the one in Kings. Point is in verse 22. All right. So, I'm going to start at 21. And it says, and all King Solomon's drinking vessels were gold, and all the vessels of the house of the forest were Lebanon were pure gold. None were silver. It was nothing accounted for in the days of Solomon. For the king had a sea navy of Tarshish, all right, with the navy of Hiram. These were Hamites, Africans, those Olmecs. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks. Well, when you go and translate that word peacocks back into the Hebrew, because the Old Testament is written in the Hebrew, you find out that that word there is turkeys. And turkeys are only indigenous to the Americas. So that's how we know they were coming here. All right. It talks about the gold of Euphaz. That was here in America as well. All right. That's where it was. It was here in the Americas. So they were coming to the Americas, and it said 3 years because it took a year and a half to get here and a year and a half to get back. All right. That's a 3-year trip. Now let's go to 2nd Ezra. Well, actually, let's play this short video. And then we'll read now we brought out the physical evidence, the history, and spoken about relics and showed some images. Now we're going to go to the video, and then we'll read the scripture and close it out. So here it is.
First of all, racism is alive and well in the Mormon church even today.
That's true.
It is taught and believed that the Book of Mormon is the cornerstone of the church. And in the Book of Mormon, Joseph Smith taught about a people coming to the Americas from Jerusalem.
And Joseph Smith is an Edomite liar, false prophet. All right. Point blank, period, and simple.
And these people were right. But when some of these people chose wrong and went against God's commandments, God cursed them with a dark skin. But when
the only people that were cursed with pale flesh was Esau and his descendants. All right. Cain also had that marking. Esau, if you understand the scriptures, was Cain come back. All right. And he came back and he had the same curse that Cain had, that pale flesh, like hers. Okay.
they chose right, God would let their skin be white again.
And they're not white. They're red. They're translucent. Their blood translucent. Their blood shows forth through their skin. As you can see, the background on the screen is white. Her skin in the background does not match. They're not the same color. So that's a complete lie. That's a play on words. Just like they'll say olive complected. Olives are like a green, and then they're like a purplish black or brown. All right. So I've never seen a green person.
That that these dark-skinned people were the indigenous people of the Americas. And even though this has been completely debunked by science, DNA shows that
And you can't trust DNA because DNA can and has been falsified, and that has been admitted and can easily be done.
Indigenous people are not from Jerusalem.
And that's a lie because Jerusalem is in Asia. All right? Let's remember that.
From Asia. This is still taught every day in the Mormon church. And I was taught this from a very young age. And it is something that I will never forgive the Mormon church for, in teaching me to be racist. It is this teaching that has never allowed me to look at someone with a different colored skin than white as someone less than me.
Now, see, this is someone who's she's defending a lie while teaching a lie. All right, the concept of white and black are both made up by so-called white people, because truthfully, no one is black and no one is white. People are different shades of brown, and people are different shades of red. Okay, let's see what pops up here. Wait a minute, what happened there? How about we just do this then, since it doesn't want to act up. Ready, people. And look what pops up immediately. All right. These are ruddy people. Brown flesh people with tones of red. She's pale. He's pale. Now let's look at all right. And Esau and white people would never all right. Red-faced newborns. All right. As a matter of fact, let's look up this. How about this? Here's one for you. Let's read this. This is Genesis 25 and 25. And it reads, well, you know what? I'm going to start at, the point is in 25, but I'm going to start at 21. All right. Just to get more context. And it reads, and Isaac entreated the Yahweh for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of Rebekah, his wife, and of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. And the children struggled within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and one people shall be stronger than the other, and the eldest shall serve the younger. So these people were going, even though they are of the same seed, coming out of the same womb, they would be completely different they would look different, and their natures would be different, and they will become two separate nations. All right. But here's the strangest thing. Their DNA is still going to be similar. All right. But here we go. And it says the elder shall serve the younger. All right. So check this out. And when her days were to be delivered, when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. Because they used to take these garments and make them red. All right. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Esau's name was his nickname, or his new name became Edom, because of the reddish, raw, the bloody meat that he ate, which is still a habit and a culture thing with the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. They still like to eat their meat rare, all right? Medium rare or rare to this day. They like blood in it. They don't like their meat fully cooked in most cases. All right. That's who it is. So just to label this man as white when the background is white, well, that's a lie. That's a play on words, like I told you. All right. So now let's go to Arzareth. Finish this out about the natives who are indeed Israelites. All right, 2nd Arzareth 13 and 40. And it reads, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. They came over the waters. All right. I just watched a video about this beautiful older Gadite woman who told the stories of how her forefathers told the stories of how they came over the waters from the east. And there's plenty of books written by white scholars from the 16th, 17th, 18th centuries and early 19th century on the same subject matter. I have like 5 or 6 of those books on the shelf behind me. All right. So it says, and then not to mention that the Phoenician style or Paleo or as the Israelis refer to as biblical Hebrew was found all over the Americas, from Canada to Brazil, all in the islands. All right. They just found a bunch of gold and Hebrew relics in Puerto Rico that were all written in the Phoenician lettering. If they came from Asia, or Asia as they try to make it, like Russia, China, right there by the tip of the Bering Strait, why would they have this ancient writing that's from, the so-called Middle East, which is in Asia, by the way? All right. It's all a play on words and lies, man. But let me finish this up, because it said they came into another land. All right. But they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind had dwelt. No one had ever dwelt in America. King Solomon, that's how they knew the way to the Americas, because King Solomon's navy was going back and forth. This is why Christopher Columbus, he mentioned Mayor K. Serling's. Mayor K. Serling's book was about Christopher Columbus and his discoveries. Christopher Columbus used all this evidence that was written in the scriptures to find his way to America, looking for the lost tribes, knowing that they would constantly come back from this new land that they went to with lots of gold, because that's what he came over here looking for immediately. Gold and slaves. Point blank, period. Hence, and you got to remember, too, that Cristobal Colon, a.k.a. Christopher Columbus, came to the Americas with Hebrew interpreters. All right? There was one name, I think his name was Luis. One of the 5 of his interpreters was Luis de Torres. He was one of the Hebrew interpreters that he brought. Okay? And I do believe that those Hebrew interpreters were crypto Jews. They were Moors out of Spain. Okay? But it says, 40, verse 40, chapter 2nd Ezra 13:42, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land, that they entered the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river, and Euphrates emptied you right down into the Indian Ocean, and they went down along in the Indian Ocean down through toward Africa, in between Africa and Madagascar, around the Horn of Africa, and over into the Americas. All right, that was the path they took. All right, for the Most High showed signs for them and held still the floods till they were passed over. All right, and for through the country there was a great way to go, namely a year and a half. You see that? And the same region was called Arzareth. And we just read about Arzareth. All right, matter of fact, we'll read it again and close this out. Let's go right back to it. And that's the real history, and that's what happened. And how people just want to overlook all these evidences, all these things that were written, and go with, these pseudoscience lies that they created. And that's the problem, is that you don't have anything to substantiate that lie. Because if they came across the Bering Strait, they wouldn't have survived it. Now you would find millions of bodies and bones of old women, children, men, the animals that they hunted. There's no way they could have. There's no physical evidence of it. It's all a lie, man. All right. Let's go back to our evidence file. The Northern Kingdom of Israel and the Jewish Encyclopedia. Arzareth. All right. The land beyond the Great River, far from the Great River being the ocean, far away from the habitation of man, which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the restoration. According to 2nd Ezra 13:45, Columbus identified America with the land. See K. Serlings, that's Mayor K. Serlings, Chris Columbus translated, all right, by Dr. C. Gross, page 15, all right, 2nd Ezra 13:40, and then Deuteronomy 29, 20, 24, and 28. Matter of fact, let me check that one. I haven't read that in a while, so let's go to Deuteronomy 29. Yeah, 24, 29, 24 through 28, Salakia. Let's peep that real quick. Deuteronomy 29. Let me read that. Yeah, it says, even all nations shall say, wherefore have the Lord done thus unto this land? What meaneth the heat of this anger? Then men shall say, because they have forsaken the covenant of Yahweh, God of their fathers, which he made with them, he brought them forth out of the land of Egypt. For they went to serve other gods and worshiped them, gods whom they knew not, and whom he had not given unto them. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against this land to bring upon it the curses that are written in this book. And Yahweh rooted them out of their land in anger and in wrath and in great indignation, and cast them into another land as it is to this day. And that's exactly what happened. So the Israelites, and it also said the restoration. Okay, when Israel goes home, all 12 tribes go home. That's also how you know that the people there are indeed imposters. When they ignorantly and erroneously call the black Hebrew Israelites were just the Hebrew Israelites. All right, anybody using that black term, you know that's already a paid hireling using a loaded statement to control the narrative, a false narrative. It's just the Hebrew Israelites. All right, but all 12 tribes returned, not just the Jews, which that term was actually didn't even come into existence until the 1800s. All right, so the tribe of Judah, all right, or the kingdom of Judah, which made up Judah, Benjamin, and a lot of Levites, because there were also Levites scattered among each one of the tribes too. All right, but that was the king that made up the kingdom of Judah. But the other 10 tribes would also return. They would all be restored together when they're restored, not just a portion. All right, so with that, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, Wa Abba Wabal, Kwam Yasrala Shalom.